We asked ChatGPT to rank the 20 greatest NBA players of all time, and you're about to see what it gave me. So first things first, what did I ask it to tell me? I started off with a single prompt. Can you compile me a list of the 20 greatest basketball players of all time and rank them in the order you feel is best? Rank these players based off what you find most valuable. So ChatGPT, tell me, who did you have at number 20?
Certainly, I can do that for you, Hoopaholics. At number 20, I went with Elgin Baylor, an electrifying forward, who is known for his high-flying style of play and scoring ability. Despite his career being overshadowed by injuries and serving in the military during his prime years, Baylor's impact on the game cannot be overlooked. His unique blend of athleticism, creativity, and scoring prowess paved the way for future generations of players. Baylor's influence on the game and his ability to put up impressive numbers during his era earn him a deserving spot among the top 20 greatest players in NBA history.
Right off the bat, I'm not mad at the ranking at all. Elgin Baylor may be one of the most overlooked NBA legends of all time. This is one of those players who were ahead of their time during his playing days, putting up incredible numbers. This is a 10-time All-NBA first-teamer and 10-time All-Star, one of the original NBA legends. So Elgin at number 20, I'm okay with it. Now let's hear who ChatGPT had at number 19.
The third greatest shooting guard ever, Dwayne Wade, also known as Flash, was a dynamic shooting guard who left an indelible mark on the game. With 3 NBA championships, including one where he was the Finals MVP, Wade's ability to take over games and perform in clutch moments solidifies his status as one of the greatest shooting guards of his generation. Wade's explosive athleticism, scoring ability, and knack for drawing fouls made him a perennial all-star. His versatility as a playmaker and defensive prowess further elevated his game. Wade's leadership, competitive fire, and impact on the Miami Heat franchise make him an iconic figure in NBA history, inspiring a generation of players who strive to emulate his style of play.
One of my personal favorite players of all time is Dwayne Wade, a 3-time champion, a Finals MVP, a 12-time All-League player, 13-time All-Star. We all know how great D-Wade was. Number 19 might be a little too high for some people. I don't mind it personally because in my opinion, if Dwayne Wade didn't deal with so many injuries throughout his career, I believe he would have been undoubtedly a top 20 player ever. He's the 3rd greatest shooting guard in my opinion. So am I mad at Dwayne Wade at 19? Absolutely not. But let's get ChatGPT to tell us about number 18.
The greatest shooter ever, Steph Curry. His impact on the game cannot be understated. As a revolutionary shooter with unmatched range and ball handling skills, Curry transformed the way the game is played. With 3 NBA championships and 2 regular season MVP awards, his shooting prowess and ability to create space have revolutionized offensive strategies. Curry's impact on the game and his influence on the next generation of players has changed the game forever.
So for me, this clearly sticks out as the first player being ranked way too low. Now, if you don't already know, ChatGPT's database goes only until 2021. So obviously, Curry won his 4th championship and first Finals MVP the year after. Had I known this, I'm sure Steph would be ranked a little higher, but even before the 4th ring, I still view this as too low. This is the greatest shooter to ever live and just one of the best basketball players we've ever seen. I would say even before that ring, Curry was around a top 12 to 13 player in my opinion, but adding that ring and the Finals MVP, for me, he's solidified top 10. So ChatGPT, tell me, who's number 17?
I went with Kevin Durant, a prolific scorer with incredible shooting skills, has consistently been among the NBA's elite players. With 2 NBA championships and 2 NBA Finals MVP awards, Durant's scoring versatility and ability to take over games have been instrumental in his team's success. His combination of height, skill, and shooting touch make him a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses.
Kevin Wayne? Kevin Wayne? Kevin Wayne? Kevin Wayne? What did Kevin Wayne do?
Shout out to B Souls, man. I love their content over there at Souls and Sage, but KD at number 17 is going to be a little too low for me. Although based on how the last couple playoffs have gone for KD, I know the NBA discourse has been going crazy about his legacy and where he really ranks. In my opinion, he is at least a top 15 player of all time. So 17 isn't too far off if you have him at 15, but if you have him at around 12 or 13, it does seem like a bit of a gap. But ChatGPT, who's number 16?
At number 16, I put one of the most underrated NBA legends of all time, Moses Malone. A dominant force in the paint, excelled as a rebounder and scorer. With 3 NBA MVP awards and an NBA championship, Malone's relentless pursuit of the basketball and scoring ability made him a formidable presence. His work ethic and durability contributed to his longevity and consistent performances.
Arguably the greatest rebounder to ever play, Moses Malone is definitely an overlooked all-time player. I like this ranking for him him. We're talking about a 3-time league MVP and an NBA champion who led the league in rebounding on 6 different occasions, with his best season at nearly 20 boards a game, 17.6 rebounds per game and 78-79 to go along with 25 points per game, a steal and a block at that as well. Moses is easily one of the most overlooked NBA legends of all time. ChatGPT definitely gets an approval from me for having Moses as a top 20 player. So tell me, who was at number 15?
At number 15, I had to go with the logo, Jerry West. He was a prolific shooting guard with a smooth jumper and clutch performances. Despite facing tough competition, West's scoring ability, tenacity, and competitiveness earned him a spot among the greatest players of all time. His impact on the game extended beyond his playing career as he became a successful coach and front office executive.
Yes, the logo, Mr. Jerry West. Now, despite having a 1-9 finals record, he is still highly regarded as one of the greatest players to ever live. I mean, he is the logo for a reason. Mr. West was a gifted scorer during that time. He has the 7th highest points per game average with 27. He also has the 5th highest playoff points per game average with 29. He was also a 17-time All-League NBA player. He made it to the finals 10 times, but unfortunately only came out with 1. But he did have to face the terrorizing Boston Celtics, who ran that entire era. Nonetheless, ChatGPT having Jerry West as a top 15 player all time is too high in my opinion, but I wouldn't be mad if he didn't have names like Steph Curry and Kevin Durant below him. But that's just my opinion. Now, ChatGPT, you know what I'm about to ask now. Who's up next?
Of course, you want to hear my number 14. Well, I picked Dirk Nowitzki, a 7-footer with an exceptional shooting touch, revolutionized the power forward position. With 1 NBA championship and a regular season MVP award, Nowitzki's ability to stretch the floor and his fadeaway jumper were nearly impossible to defend. His impact on the game as a European player who succeeded at the highest level inspired a new generation of international players.
Wow, Dirk at 14? Don't get me wrong, I love Dirk Nowitzki. He revolutionized the position and what it meant to be a shooting big man, but 14 is definitely too high in my book. I would have Dirk anywhere from top 20 to 25, mainly because outside of 21, he did have a lot of blunders in the playoffs, unfortunately. That 2011 playoff run is obviously one of the most historic we've ever seen, so I understand why ChatGPT may have ranked him so highly, but he's definitely too high here, especially in front of names, as I said previously, like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, etc. He is too high. I love Dirk, but hey, ChatGPT, tell me, who's at number 13?
At number 13, I decided to go with Karl Malone, aka the Mailman. He was one of the most dominant power forwards in NBA history. With 2 NBA MVP awards and consistent high-level performances, Malone's physicality, scoring ability, and durability made him a force to be reckoned with. His pick-and-roll partnership with John Stockton became one of the most iconic duos in NBA history.
Now, we all know what Karl Malone did off the court was absolutely disgusting. He is one of those players where it is really hard to separate his on-the-court play due to the heinous acts that he committed. Karl Malone on the court, though, still ended up being, at worst, a top 25 basketball player ever. Now, at number 13, though, ChatGPT, that's a little nasty, I must say so myself. But it is your list, and it is your opinion. Karl Malone was definitely one of those 90s stars who were severely overshadowed by Michael Jordan and lost some championships by never being able to beat out the legendary Bulls and MJ. Well, we definitely disagree on this one, but tell me, who was at number 12?
That's fair enough. Agree to disagree. But at number 12, I selected Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson's all-around game and triple-double ability were ahead of his time. With 1 NBA championship and a regular season MVP award, the Big O showcased his versatility as a guard who could score, rebound, and facilitate. Robertson's ability to fill up the stat sheet and his impact on the game's statistical milestones cement his place among the elite.
The original Mr. Triple-Double. Oscar Robertson at one point was probably being argued as the greatest basketball player ever due to how much he could fill up a stat sheet. Before Robertson retired, he did retire as the all-time leader in triple-doubles, as most of us probably already know, but eventually that would get broken by Mr. Triple-Double now, Russell Westbrook. This was a record for decades, years, that no one ever thought would be broken. The Big O at number 12 is a solid spot for him. We're almost at that top 10, so tell me, who was at number 11?
Only 1 spot away. But at number 11, I had Bill Russell. His impact on the game goes beyond statistics. As the cornerstone of the Boston Celtics dynasty, he led his team to an astounding 11 NBA championships. Russell's defensive skills and shot-blocking ability revolutionized the game, and his leadership and winning mentality were unparalleled. His impact on team success and his ability to elevate his teammates' performances make him one of the greatest winners in NBA history.
Wow, Bill Russell at number 11 is something something I was not expecting, but I love it honestly. As great of a resume Bill Russell has, when I look at the context behind his career, I don't feel that he as a basketball player was better than the other names that I have in front of him, and I guess ChatGPT feels the same way as well. Bill Russell is an 11-time champ as we know, but as a 6'11 center playing in the 60s, to me, it looks really sus to only average 15 points per game on 44% shooting. That's just really not going to cut it for me when you're talking about the other players that are ahead of him and his peers. Now, I know he's arguably the best defender of all time, but his offensive game was lacking just so much in that department that I really cannot put him too high in my opinion. I just don't think him as a basketball player is higher than the people I have in front of him, and I am curious as to who ChatGPT has at number 10.
Made it to the home stretch. At number 10, I have Hakeem The Dream. He possessed a versatile skill set that made him one of the greatest centers in NBA history. With 2 NBA championships and 2 regular season MVP awards, Hakeem's footwork, post moves, shot blocking ability, and defensive prowess were a sight to behold. His ability to dominate both ends of the court and his knack for big moments solidify his place in the top 10.
Hakeem The Dream. You can never go wrong with adding him into the top 10 of all time. Hakeem is arguably the best defensive player of all time and easily a top 3 center to ever play the game. Hakeem at number 10 is a 100% solid pick. Now let's see number 9.
At number 9, I decided to put the big fundamental, Tim Duncan. His consistency, leadership, and fundamental skills propelled the San Antonio Spurs to 5 NBA championships. Duncan's defensive prowess, rebounding ability, and basketball IQ made him one of the most reliable and respected players of his era. Known for his selfless play and unassuming demeanor, Duncan was a cornerstone.
Tim Duncan is a name some fans might have high as top 5. His career resume is really that polished. We know who he is, a 5-time champ, 3-time Finals MVP, and a 2-time league MVP. He's the greatest power forward to ever play the game. It's really that simple. So Tim Duncan at number 9, I think it's a fair placement for Timmy. So let's go on to number 8.
Moving onward, and at number 8, I have Kobe Bryant. His relentless work ethic, scoring ability, and competitive drive made him one of the greatest shooting guards of all time. With 5 NBA championships and a regular season MVP award, Bryant's ability to take over games and his footwork were unparalleled. His signature scoring moves, competitive mentality, and dedication to his craft made him a true basketball icon.
My favorite player of all time, the Black Mamba. I don't really have to dive too much into what Kobe did and what he meant to the basketball community and really the world as a whole. We all know who Kobe was and how great he was. Kobe, like Tim Duncan, is a name who gets thrown around a lot of spots in the top 10, sometimes even outside of it, which I believe to be asinine, but to each their own. Kobe, in my mind, is undoubtedly a top 10 player ever, and in my opinion, he's top 5. Some may say that I am biased, but I fully believe that his resume, skill, impact, longevity, whatever you're looking at, he has what it takes to back up that claim. But Kobe being a number 8 is fine by me, so let's hear who's next.
Next up, I have Wilt Chamberlain. He was a statistical marvel, holding numerous NBA records. His scoring ability and rebounding prowess were legendary, with a 100-point game and multiple 50-point seasons to his name. Chamberlain's physical dominance and sheer athleticism set him apart. Although his era was different in terms of competition, his impact on the game cannot be denied.
Possibly the biggest freak of nature of all time, Wilt Chamberlain, standing at a staggering 7 feet tall with a supposed 50-inch vertical, 4.6 40 time, and apparently he could also bench 500 pounds. Who knows what else he could have done? The stories of Wilt Chamberlain that surround him sound like a myth. I mean, 100 points in a single game sounds made up. The feat is so ridiculous that many do believe it was fabricated and he didn't really score that much. But I guess we'll never truly know since someone lost the game footage. But Wilt Chamberlain on paper, you would think is easily the greatest to ever play when you just look at the numbers. So having him at number 7 is a solid placement. We're approaching that top 5, so Chat GPT, who's at number 6?
At number 6, we have the Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal. His combination of size, strength, and skill made him one of the most dominant centers in NBA history. With 4 NBA championships and a regular season MVP award, Shaq's physical presence and ability to dominate the paint were unmatched. His powerful dunks, rim protection, and imposing presence made him a nightmare for opposing teams.
Shaq is arguably the best center to ever play. He's the most dominant force we've seen in the modern era. ChatGPT explained it best with how ferocious and empowering he really was. Shaq at his peak was literally unstoppable. Not a single soul on this planet could guard him or slow him down during that time. A 4-time champ, 3-time Finals MVP, a league MVP, and many all-league NBA teams. Shaq at number 6 is a strong placement. We've made it to the top 5 now. So who's starting us off, ChatGPT? GPT.
At 5, I had to go with Larry Legend. His impact on the game goes far beyond his exceptional shooting and scoring ability. As a 3-time NBA champion, Bird's competitive fire and basketball IQ made him one of the greatest players of his era. Bird's clutch performances, rebounding prowess, and tenacious defense contributed to his legendary status. His fierce rivalry with Magic Johnson elevated the game and helped popularize the NBA in the 1980s.
Larry Legend, one of the saviors of basketball. Without him and Magic, we may not have even had a chance to see the other legends come after them. Do I think Larry is a top 5 player though? I don't personally, but obviously he's top 10. Larry, from what I have gone back and watched, was so fun to watch and a truly remarkable player. The resume speaks for itself, so to make an argument for him being top 5, I could see it. So who do we have at number 4?
Well, I'm sure you were expecting this, but I have Magic Johnson at 4. He revolutionized the point guard position with his size, court vision, and playmaking ability. His leadership skills guided the Showtime Lakers to 5 NBA championships. Johnson's infectious charisma, exceptional passing, and ability to control the game from the point guard position set him apart. He showcased versatility rarely seen before, playing multiple positions and consistently elevating the performance of his teammates.
Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard of all time in my opinion, and by the accounts of many fans, the greatest Laker of all time as well. Magic Johnson is a name that is almost in everyone's top 5, and his game was just ahead of its time, and his impact on the court and off the court were just tremendous, especially during his era. We all know what him and Larry meant to the game, and we all know that this placement at number 4 is solid. So Chat GPT, go ahead and tell me the remaining 3 players.
Certainly. At number 3, I have Kareem AbdulJabbar. His skyhook shot and longevity in the game make him one of the most accomplished players in NBA history. With 6 NBA championships, 6 regular season MVP awards, and the all-time leading scorer, his impact on the game cannot be overstated. Abdul-Jabbar's dominance as a center, defensive prowess, and unstoppable scoring ability make him a true legend. Number 2, no other than LeBron James. He is a basketball prodigy known for his versatility and basketball IQ. With 4 NBA championships, 4 regular season MVP awards, and an uncanny ability to impact the game in multiple ways, James has consistently been at the top of the league for over a decade. His combination of size, athleticism, court vision, and leadership make him a force to be reckoned with, and his remarkable consistency place him among the greatest ever. At the GOAT spot, I still have none other than Michael Jordan. He is widely regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. His 6 NBA championships, 5 regular season MVP awards, and numerous scoring titles showcase his dominance. Jordan's incredible athleticism, scoring ability, defensive prowess, and competitive drive set him apart. His clutch performances in critical moments solidified his status as a legend. Jordan's impact on the game extended beyond his playing career, as he became a global icon who transcended basketball.
As expected, the top 3 consisted of Kareem, LeBron, and Michael Jordan. This seems to be the most universal top 3, so it makes sense that ChatGPT would make it its top 3 as well. I was hoping we'd get a little spicy and switch it up, but it did play it safe, and I can respect that. This AI is actually extremely incredible. Although the list wasn't perfect, I will say it was better than a lot of all-time lists I've seen on NBA Twitter or NBA social media in general. So thank you all for watching, and until next time, you can check out this video right here.